Speaker Anita Amongi ate nga kino kimutuddemu omukulu Honorable Ssenyonyi bw'ayanjizza ensonga era n'amugobesa ssente ze ez'enguzi ziyabadde amuteredde ku akawunti ye. Kati gambibwa nti omukulu Honorable Ssenyonyi mu kaseera we yagendedde Kenya ffenna twamulabyeko yabadde ne omukulu Lutamaguzi Ssemakula n'abakulu abalala mu National Platform wabadde Kenya. Speaker yayagadde omutega akatego n'amuteera ssente ku akawunti ye za nnaku 5 anti bo bamanyira okwegabira ez'obusa, bamanyira okwegabira ez'obwereere. Baganda bange, mikwano gyange, nyongera obajjukiza nti bano bo bamanyira Kati Ssenyonyi baagala omuteeka mu butego bwabwe obw'obubbi mbu naye bamugambe naawe oli mubbi. Tubagamba nti ono leader of opposition waffe ebintu abiraba, ensonga zirabira ddala temulina katego ke mugenda muteeka mutwongera obajjukiza n'okubategeeza. Era Anita Amongi mbanga muli byammwe byakubba nga mubba ssente zammwe mubbe, naye Honorable Ssenyonyi mumuleke kubanga ye agenda balabisa. Amanyi ekituufu ekyamuleetera, amanyi ekituufu kyayagala era amanyi omulamwa ki gwe tuliko. Mwe muli babbi tubamanyi, mwe muli babbi mukolera kukubba, mukolera we watali kubba obulamu bwammwe tebutambula. Naye Honorable Ssenyonyi tukwebaza nnyo mukama waffe, entambuza gy'otambuzaamu ensonga eno y'amaanyi. Bino bitwayagalanga, bino bitwasabiriranga okufuna omuntu asobola okutambuliza ensonga nga bwe tugyagala era nga bwe tugyetaaga. Speaker of Parliament abadde alowooza mbu ogenda gwa mu kategoko. Maama osanze tulaba, osanze Speaker waffe alaba, osanze leader of opposition waffe ensonga aziraba, ensonga nga azitegeera, tolina ky'omugamba. Ssenyonyi tukwebazizza bannange, weebale tambuza bw'oti ensonga, weebale kulaga Speaker nti byatugamba si we birina okubeera, era nga Ssenyonyi agambye teri tagenda kulya ssente yamwe wa musolo ya bwereere, agenda kuwolya ssente ezo ziri mu mateeka entuufu ezimulambikibwa. Anita Amongi ne bw'anaayagala omusuula mu katego aleme okulaga ensi enguzi gy'agenda mu maaso n'okulya ne bannayuganda engeri gye tuli mu mukoleramu. Kati Anita Amongi ofaaki ne Ssenyonyi yagenze olunaku lumu gwe ssente omuwaza nnaku 5 for what? Gasajja kano bannange n'obubbi gwe watali bubbi tegatambula, gabeera mu bubbi, kubba bubbi, buli kaseera balowooza mu kubba. Naye twongera obajjukiza n'obategeeza nti temugenda musuula mu katego. Newe munaakola mutya teri gwe mugenda osuula mu katego. Era twongera obajjukiza nti pulezidenti waffe omulungi Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine ensonga ajja zitambuza ddala bulungi. Twebaza nnyo Honorable Ssenyonyi, webale nnyo, webalire ddala.
Which you have been following, and we thought it's important to update us on the latest on the goings on. When we last communicated, I did inform us that earning money for not doing work. The other issue is, of course, the commission. People who sat and they awarded themselves money irregularly. That has got to be looked into as well. Then there's the Speaker's community outreaches, where billions of shillings were put on the accounts of staff members of Parliament. They withdrew that money, took it to the Speaker. There's no law providing for that. How did it happen? What did this money do? Billions of shillings. Because when you see the assistant director, 2.4 billion shillings was put on his account. He withdrew and took to the Speaker. The principal protocol officer in the Speaker's office, 1.1 billion shillings. Mr. Chris Obore, spokesperson of Parliament, 1.9 billion shillings was put on his account, which he withdrew, took to the Speaker. We want that explained. Okay. Another officer in the Speaker's office, 4.5 billion shillings. Put on his account, he withdraws, takes to the Speaker. What are these activities? We want them explained because these are billions of shillings. We want accountability for this money, but also it's illegal for this money accounts of staff. And hopefully staff at Parliament will done, because you see, they will cause you to commit an illegality, and it's not enough for you to explain and say, It wasn't my money. I simply withdrew it and took it to the speaker. How did you get involved? How is it that billions of shillings are wired to your account, your personal account? So they've got to explain these issues as well. There's also direct payments to the director in the leader of government business office, 4.4 billion shillings that was put on her account for certain works. Which ones? All of these have got to be explained. Even as we are writing to these entities. The other interesting issue is a contract. With me, I have a contract between the Parliamentary Commission and Mama Bukedia FM. This is a radio station belonging to the Speaker of Parliament. This contract is worth 3.13 billion shillings. Apparently to do parliament-related work. Which work is that? We are asking what procurement regulations were followed for this radio station of the Speaker to get this contract worth 3.13 billion shillings. What work is it that this radio station does that you, other media houses, don't do? Because many of you cover Parliament Live and so on. You're not paying this money. So what special work is the Speaker's radio station doing for Parliament for it to be awarded a contract worth 3.13 billion shillings? What procurement regulations were followed? But also, more disturbing, it's signed by staff in the office of the Speaker as managers of her radio station. How do you explain these ridiculous things? This is a contract worth 3.13 billion shillings. So aside from how it was given out, but the people signing on behalf of the radio station as managers of the Speaker's radio station, as staff in her office here. So all of these illegal acts have got to be thoroughly investigated. We demand answers. Now, I had talked about the letters that I have written to the different entities. The first one is to the Inspectorate of Government, and this letter was received. I am asking and urging the Inspector General of Government to investigate the financial impropriety, all these allegations, financial impropriety, irregular staff recruitment, this contract of the radio station, and so on and so forth, happening here at Parliament. I saw the Inspector General of Government saying that the Auditor General is investigating and so she's stepping aside. And we're saying, wait a minute, IGG, what exactly are you running away from? Why are you running away from your responsibility? Because the mandate of the IGG is clear. The IGG cannot say that there's somebody else who is investigating, in fact auditing, because the Auditor General audits, of course, as the investigator and so on. But the IGG cannot say, the Auditor General is investigating, so let me step aside. No. Do not run away from your responsibilities, except if you're saying you're too scared as well. So there's no law, because the mandate of the IGG is very clear. The mandate of the Auditor General is very clear. There's no overlap. So the IGG, there's no law that bans the IGG from investigating a matter just because somebody else is investigating. Because the IGG is an independent entity, statutory entity put in place by law. So we think that the IGG needs not to run away from her responsibility, which is very clear within the law. And the mandates are different. Besides, the Auditor General is an officer of Parliament. We understand that the Speaker asked the Auditor General to come and carry out an audit regarding these issues. We are not very convinced about that audit. Because one, the Auditor General is an officer of Parliament. Number two, the Auditor General sent the same team that has been auditing Parliament all this while to carry out this special audit as well. They are conflicted. We don't expect them to come up with anything new. To say what we audited the other time was not proper, so we have found some new issues, yeah? And so I've also written to the Auditor General asking him, number one, to send a new team, not the one that has been auditing Parliament, which is what he said. Because we believe that that particular audit team is just going to do window dressing and cleansing. And then the Speaker will flash a report and say, you see, the Auditor General has audited, everything is okay. So we don't believe in that audit by the same team which has been auditing Parliament all this while. We are saying there should be a different team. If anything, there should be a forensic audit, because you see, these are billions of shillings that we're talking about. So we are telling the Auditor General, take this audit very seriously, dig deeper. You cannot have that same team that has been coming all the while. And that's one of the letters that I've written to the Auditor General. And in essence, that's why we are telling the IGG, you cannot say the Auditor General is auditing, because the Auditor General is actually part of us. Of course, yes, he has got a legal mandate, but he's part of us. And now that the Speaker has told him, do an audit, what guarantee do we have that that will be a proper audit? That won't just be doing window dressing. So we are telling the IGG, please, do not run away from your responsibility. Your mandate is very clear. Of course, the other letter to the Auditor General, we are asking for authenticated records of payments under the Parliamentary Commission and so on, because those are important for us as leaders, even as we carry out investigations, even for these different arms and entities that are executing their mandate. I also have written to the DPP. This letter was received yesterday as well. The DPP is an independent entity, but the DPP can be requested and urged to cause an investigation. And therefore, the DPP gets to direct police to carry out investigations. And that's why I have written to the DPP, urging her to cause an investigation, because these are very serious matters that should actually, ultimately, we believe, lead to prosecution, because there's lots of glaring irregularities. But anyhow, we are asking the Director of Public Prosecution cause an investigation in these matters. And our hope, again, is that the DPP will not say, but there are other people investigating. There's no harm at all. These are all independent institutions that have different mandates. Their mandates don't overlap. Otherwise, then, we would have had only one. We would not have IGG, we would not have DPP, we would not have Auditor General, and so on. But they're all in place with different mandates. Our expectation is that they will each carry out their mandate to get to the bottom of these issues. I've also written to the Financial Intelligence Authority, which is another legal body that has got a clear mandate. The Financial Intelligence Authority, our hope is that they will follow up on these monies, billions of shillings, that have been going onto people's accounts, bank accounts, withdrawn surreptitiously and so on. Our hope is that Financial Intelligence Authority, which is empowered by the Anti-Money Laundering Act, will dig deep into these issues, because there are clear, glaring issues of money laundering. Billions of shillings onto people's accounts, and then they are withdrawn. Immediately, what exactly is this money doing? Going onto people's individual accounts. Again, like I've said, our hope is that they will each carry out, and that they will not try and hide within legalities. As we have heard the IGG say, the Auditor General is investigating. No, the Auditor General has got his mandate, you have got your mandate. Okay? Carry out your mandate, because each of these is an independent institution. There are some other issues of concern. We have seen the Speaker of Parliament coming out to say she has got the support of Mr. Museveni, as if to say that all of you Ugandans who are asking her for answers, you can go to hell. we want to remind the Speaker of Parliament, who we respect because of the office she occupies, and that's not in doubt. We're not asking these questions out of disrespect, as some people are saying. How can the Speaker be disrespected? Well, the Speaker occupies a public office. The money we are talking about is public money. So it's our job to ask for accountability for public money. So stop trying to trip us by saying we are being disrespectful. There's nothing disrespectful about what we are doing, about us asking questions. And we are not going to stop asking questions of accountability. So again, we want to ask government, if it is true, as the Speaker is trying to paint it, because she seems to say, government is behind me, I'll not be investigated. What happened to the government policy of zero tolerance to corruption? Was it just another phrase that was said to excite the people of Uganda? Will this be treated like the Mabati saga, where some powerful people were ignored, even when they were involved in stealing Mabati, iron sheets belonging to Karamoja? So our hope also is that government will come out clearly, because the Speaker seems to say she has the backing of government. You don't have the backing of government to involve yourself in financial impropriety. Respond to these issues as yourself. Speaker has also been on the loose, blaming everybody she can blame. She has blamed homosexuals. I saw her blaming the Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, saying these old women who are fighting us don't know what they left in the Speaker's office and they want to reclaim. And she said, you see, they're developing their areas. Kamuli is developed. Why don't they want us to develop our other areas? It is clear who she was talking about. She was talking about the Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga. I don't know if there are any personal issues between those two leaders. That's none of my business. My business is that the Speaker accounts for taxpayers' money. I don't know who next she's going to blame, because now every day she's looking for someone to blame. If it is not homosexuals, now it is Kadaga, and tomorrow I don't know who. I don't care who might have issues with her, as she does claim that those who are raising these issues, they are fighting her. I don't know. I don't care. What I care about is that she gets to account for these taxpayers' money. That's what is important to me and to the people of Uganda. That's what is important to us. So stop giving us these excuses, finding somebody to blame. You respond to the issues we are asking about. It is possible you have people, all of us in politics have people who don't like us, obviously. I'm not naive to think that as leader of the opposition, as MP in Akawa West, and whichever other positions I hold, I'm not naive to think that everybody likes me. No. But you see, I can't use the excuse of those who don't like me by not responding to critical accountability issues. No. Let's not run away from accountability. Everybody has people who don't like them. But we demand that accountability is attended to. And what we are asking of the Speaker, part of accountability, for example, for some of these trips, which she probably did take, if you cannot account, refund the money. Yes. Of course, there are other things which there is no other way she can sanitize them, yeah? But for these trips, which we believe some of which you did not take, because you cannot be in Kigali for the EALA Games and in Nairobi at the same time, it doesn't make sense. Refund that money. Because it's taxpayers' money, that's part of being accountable. And I want to give us an example, because I've seen some people talk about it in my own situation. I went to Nairobi on behalf of Parliament to visit the Honorable Segirinya Mohammed, because he's on the side which I lead, the opposition side. And I gave indication that I'll go for one night. I'll be there for one night and return to take care of other responsibilities that I do have. So I did go, came back, gave a report. I interacted with the doctors, gave a report to Parliament about the progress of this member and so on. A couple of days later, I saw a reflection on my account of money. they had processed money for 5 days as opposed to 1 day, for which I was in Nairobi, which I had indicated I'll be going for. But I'm told they were processing for several others, so it was done collectively. I said, okay. But as is normally the case, as we should be accountable as leaders, when you travel, because sometimes it might be you have gone somewhere and then you realize I need to return for some other engagements. You submit your boarding passes. We have an office here at Parliament called the Accountability Office, where those boarding passes are submitted, and so the days tabulated. Any extra days for which you were not where you were meant to be, they are deducted off your emoluments for the following month. And so I did submit all of that because I said, no, I was there for 1 night, so I should not be paid for 5 days. But that process delayed. And so the money was not deducted off the March emoluments. So I was told it will be deducted off the April emoluments. I said, no, I'm not going to wait for that. So I withdrew money from my account for the 4 days, and I went and deposited that money in the accountability office. And I got a receipt for it. Because I said, I don't want this matter to take longer than it should. Yeah, so if you're waiting to deduct it off my pay of April, I'm not going to wait for that. I don't want people to misuse it. So I withdrew money for the 4 days, and I paid it back to Parliament. That's what we ought to do as accountable leaders. Even though, like I'm saying, I did ask for, I was meant to be there for 1 night, but in process it can happen. Because there were many other people going for different things still in Nairobi. That's okay. Because like again I've said, sometimes you can go planning to be somewhere for a week, and you realize you have to come back for whatever reason. You account. How? That money ought to be deducted. If it takes long to be deducted, as was in my case, you take it and pay back that money. That's what we ought to do as accountable leaders. And so that's my urge to the Speaker. Some things she cannot explain, and we have got to have proper accountability, prosecution where need be, and so on. But there are those where, if you were in Kigali, the money that you got for Nairobi, you take it back. Because it couldn't have been in 2 places at the same time. And then, for Kigali, we shall demand and say, but your per diem is meant to be $990. Why were you paid $4,000 per day? Take back that money also. That's part of being accountable as leaders. I also wanted to talk about the threats we have been seeing. Whistleblowers and other people, members of the public, who are raising these concerns, and we understand their threats to their lives. I want to urge, whether it be the Speaker and other leaders against whom concerns are being raised, let's not be cowards. Let's not operate in a cowardly manner. Don't attack the messenger. Respond to the message that they are raising. Respond to the issues that they are raising. And by the way, we have a law that protects even whistleblowers, the Whistleblowers Protection Act. Our hope is that these people will be safe, protected by the law. But again, I want to appeal to the Speaker and other leaders against whom issues are being raised. Don't commit 2 offenses. Deal with this issue. Yeah? If you want to go after people who are raising concerns, that's a cowardly thing to do. Our hope is that they will respond to this issue. And of course, people do ask us, Joel, don't you fear for your life and all these other people that are raising these concerns and so on. I'm doing my job. And so no one will intimidate me. No one. Because this is what I ought to be doing. Finally, the issues we are asking of are not so peculiar. Some of you who are following news, the Speaker of the South African National Assembly, which is their parliament, the Right Honorable Mapisa Nkakula, is under investigation. In fact, police raided her home, several investigations. They're investigating her for having received bribes from contractors to the tune of $120,000 US. Now that's even peanuts in comparison to the monies we are asking for accountability, both our speaker and our parliament here. But that's to show you that no one should be above the law. South Africa is not a perfect nation, but they're showing that even the speaker of parliament can be investigated. So our speaker of parliament is not above the law. She too ought to be investigated. We had hoped that she would come out much earlier before investigations, come out, respond and give accountability. But she has not, and so we are saying she's not above the law. And again, for the avoidance of doubt, we respect the speaker and her office. But we are not going to keep quiet when it comes to accountability issues. No. And no one will intimidate us. So we want responses to these issues. Our hope is that these offices that we have written to will take action immediately. I thank you. Maybe let's ask questions after. Afterwards, then I can respond to them all. After Uganda for why not Swahili, for example? Kali, olwaleero tubayise nate nsonga ez'enjawulo mujjukira twali wano etwogera ku nsonga ezigenda maaso wano mu parliament era nga tubanja akiro okuva ekitongole kya parliament ne speaker akikulira. Twasaba speaker ebintu byalinga bisatu. Okusookera ddala ayite commission meeting. Kuba commission yetwala parliament eno era yesalawo ssente mmeka ezikozesebwa ku ki, byonna byonna yebisalawo nga commission. Era nga commission tetuulanga ne muwandiikira ebbaluwa. Oweekitiibwa speaker yaddamu ebbaluwa yange nga annyonnyola ebintu bingi nti kaakati tuli mu process ya budget, commission tesobola kutuula. Eno ebbaluwa gye yaddamu n'aŋŋamba nti ekitone ennyo commission ejja kutuula eyo nga tutandise Julaayi, tumazeko June, tutandise Julaayi. Ne ŋŋamba ate bijja biti ebyo kubanga ekitegeerako nti commission yasemba okutuula mu August omwaka oguwedde. Kakati
omukulu Honorable Ssenyonyi n'okutangaaza bano obubbi bwabwe baagala mu bakusule mu katego k'obubbi bwabwe. Bagambye nti nze munsanze ndaba, munsanze ndi mugezi, temugenda kuntiisatiisa. Anita Amongi totutiisiriza mukwano gwaffe omukulu Honorable Ssenyonyi, era twongera okujjukiza n'okutegeeza titolina kyogamba. Anita Amongi, Ssenyonyi muleke akola omulimu gwe. Kyokka bananga Anita Amongi Anita Amongi talina kyaddamu. Anita Amongi talina kyagamba. Abadde basobola baagala kusula lupu waffe mu katego kano ke yagenze e Nairobi okulaba ku Honorable Segirinya Muhammad mbubadde baagala muwa ssente za nnaku 5 kyokka nga amalayo nnaku lumu. Nga Anita Amongi wazeegabira n'atulimba mbukati taliiwo, mbukati waali nakwesa obuwumbi naye nga munange ssente ezo zizo gwe Munnayuganda. So bino byadde ayagala okuteeka mu leader of opposition waffe naye n'amugwamu n'amugamba ono omubbi Anita Amongi. Tetuffe tetukolagana nababbi, tujja tambula nababbi, kye tuyinza okugamba.